historic eruptions now from Kilauea going back to December of 2024. So that is a record number of lava fountaining episodes in a very short time frame of just about a year and 8 months. It's never happened before that fast or that many. Well, the past 7 eruptions have been synchronized with the moon phases of the new moon and the full moon almost perfectly. We'll look at that. But here we see our live view of Kilauea right now, today the 23rd, and she's not yet fully inflated. So we're still waiting on this next 54th eruption, and based off of the trend that we've been seeing, it's very likely that she's going to erupt around the same time as this partial lunar eclipse, the full moon, because, well, again, the past 7 eruptions have all been synchronized with that. Here we see our eruption timeline. So we had the 53rd, 52nd, 51st, 50th, right? We can go back to the 47th to see when it got synchronized. And just in general, if you want, you can pause here and look at these dates. I'll also link this in the video description. But we had the new moon on May 16th. Okay, this is episode 47. Look at the date here, 14th to the 15th. This is Hawaiian time too, okay? So that's going to be offset earlier than it would be for just universal time. Now, episode 48 occurred on June 1st, and well, we had the full moon on May 31st. So again, within one day, boom, you have Kilauea erupt. Episode 49, June 14th, that's the same day as the new moon. Episode 50, June 27th, we had the full moon on June 29th. On the 15th of July, we had episode 51, and well, July 14th was the new moon. Episode 52 was on the 28th to 29th of July. The full moon was on the 29th of July. And episode 53 was on the 12th to 13th of August. And well, we had the total solar eclipse, that new moon, on August 12th. So you see how the past 7 eruptions at Kilauea have all been synchronized, most of them within 24 hours of the exact new moon or full moon phase. But in general, new moons and full moons lasts about 2 to 3 days, so they're all right there in that time window. Now we can look at our latest tilt data for Kilauea here to get a sense of what's happening and if she's likely to erupt during this time frame. So if we look at the past year, we see now how the phasing has grown very, very consistent. We had this 5.2 magnitude earthquake strike off the coast of the big island of Hawaii. This was on the Kamaʻaheukana seamount. That seems to have changed the system. At the same time, we had a Category 1 cyclone. This is Hurricane Lala strike the Big Island and Maui pretty hard. Then we see that we've inflated since then, but now we're in this period of deflation. Just like we see with these other episodes, they deflated and then they rapidly surge upwards before then having their big eruptive episode. So we're right now in that waiting period. And it's possible that Kilauea erupts on maybe the 25th or the 26th. But if she waits just a little bit longer, then that will happen with this partial lunar eclipse. So that is very likely to occur. And again, this is one of the biggest volcanoes on Earth if we look at Hawaii as a whole. And it's also in a historic eruptive cycle right now, which is very, very interesting. But in addition to that, we have high magnitude earthquakes that have been synchronized with the lunar cycle as of late. Let's talk about it. Here we have our USGS significant earthquakes map for the past 30 days, and we have our highest magnitude events here. So we've had a lot of big earthquakes over the past month. A 7.7 that struck Indonesia on the 14th of August, a 7.4 that struck Colombia on the 10th of August. Notice how that's both 2 days on either side of the total solar eclipse on the 12th of August, which was that new moon. So those are pretty closely linked into that new moon phase. Not exactly on it, but 2 days offset either side. Boom, boom. We see just shortly after the 7.7 Indonesia, also a 6.9 magnitude earthquake that struck Indonesia. And here we see our 6.8 earthquake which struck Japan. That was quite destructive, southern Japan. And they have that clocked in as a magnitude 7.1. The Japanese do with their seismic agency. That occurred on the 28th of July. Well, again, that full moon was on the 29th. So we see this phasing with the past lunar cycles of the full moon